Hello everyone. Let's resume our session, and I will start a new topic now. The topic will be information modeling. All right. If you have any questions on the topics that we have covered so far, feel free to raise your hands or speak up and ask questions. Or even after the class, you can definitely ask questions without any hesitations. Okay. Let me start sharing my screen again in a moment. All right. I hope everyone can see my screen and hear me loud and clear. Okay, so let's get started with what is called HANA information modeling. Okay, this is very important topic in HANA because if you go in the market, you will see a lot of requirement for information modelers, HANA modelers, right? So this is very important. So this topic will give an introduction or give you a detailed understanding of what is information modeling, what will be required by you people as an information modeler if you go into the project, HANA project, what will be the activities that you will be doing in a project. Okay, so please pay attention to this particular topic. All right. So before I start an introduction, I'll tell you where we are right now in this particular course. Okay. So there are three different types of activities, as I told you in the beginning. So first activity is HANA data provisioning, right? Data provisioning, wherein we looked at different options: flat file, BODS, DXC, ETL based approach, trigger based approach, which is SLT. We looked at all those. So what do we do using all these methodologies? We bring the data into HANA database. Let me replace this particular picture. Okay. Let me bring in HANA database here. Sorry, database picture. Okay. So we bring in data into HANA database, right? Using data provisioning techniques. Different techniques that we have already looked at. ETL approach. Okay. Flat file. SLT, which is a trigger based approach, right? DXC, smart data access, which we have covered. Okay, so all these are different types of data provisioning methodologies which can be used to bring in the data into HANA. First step, which we have covered, right? The second step will be information modeling. So once we bring the data into HANA database, we have to do information modeling. Okay, and then the third part and last part, which I'm not going to start immediately. It's going to be reporting. Okay, so we do create information models. We create information models in HANA database using a tool called HANA Studio. Right? We have already looked at HANA Studio because SLT definitely has to be, SLT replication has to be done using HANA Studio. So you guys already have an overview of HANA Studio, and we are going to create information models in HANA Studio. Okay, so that is the activity that I am going to concentrate now onwards. All right, so information modeling, and then the last but not the least, reporting. Okay, so using information models, what do? We create different views here, analytic views or attribute views. Okay, analytic views and calculation views. I'll explain all of them. Don't worry too much. I'll explain all of them in detail. Okay, attribute views, analytical views, and calculation views are what we call information models. We create them. Okay, and reporting is basically consuming the data or consuming these models, information models, and providing end user beautiful reports, beautiful interfaces. Okay, so this is the entire life cycle of data loading or data provisioning, information modeling, and reporting. So in this class, I'm going to start with information modeling since we have covered this portion. All right. So now let's go into information modeling. Okay, the concept in SAP HANA, The concept in SAP HANA is store the data only once and view the data, okay, from different angles. Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? So let us say we have HANA database. Okay, we have HANA database and we have brought in some data, like for example KNA1. Okay, we have done KNA1. We have put in KNA1 from SAP system into HANA database. Okay, I have a tool. BOBJ tool, for example, business object tool. Okay, so in which I want to consume this particular data from this particular table. Or I have a third-party tool, wherein I have to third-party tool, okay, which needs data from this table and another table, KNB1. Okay, these two tables are needed for this third-party tool. So bring the data from the source system only once and project them. So create an information model, one information model. Okay, information model 1. Let me call it as information model 1. Okay, I created an information model based on KNA1 table and I will consume this in this particular report or tool. Okay, now I will create another information model. I'll call it as information model 2. Information model 2. Okay, and I'll consume this table and KNB1 table in this particular model and provide this data to this particular third-party tool. Okay, so if you observe here, the data in the database is stored only once. So that is the main purpose of SAP HANA, store the data only once, not more than once. Okay, and then view the data from different angles, meaning create different information models and provide different views of the same data, right? If there is another tool which wants data from, like I'll call it as tool 3, okay, which needs to see data from KNB1, okay, you could either provide the data from here if you can, or create another information model. I will call it as IM3, information model 3. Create another information model on KNB1 table and provide the data to the tool 3. See, here the data is stored only once and we are giving different views to the two different tools as per their requirement. Okay, so that is why these information models, okay, are called views. Information models are also called views. Okay, why are they called views? Because we store data only once. In the tables, right? So these information models provide different view of the data, but they do not store any data. That is the very, very important point to you guys have to remember. Okay, these information models do not store data. They just show different views of the data. Are you guys with me? So they just show different views of the data. So that is why, what is the advantage of this? What is the advantage of having different views? Avoid data redundancy. Avoid data redundancy. What does data redundancy mean? Let us see, bad architecture or bad design. Okay, bad design. How it can be bad. Okay. let's see if we have a database. Wherein I get a KNA1 table for tool 1. Okay, tool 1 needs KNA1 table, right? I store this data, I bring the data and store it in this and provide this particular data to a tool 1. Okay, suppose there is a tool, another tool which needs the same data in a different format. Then I will have to change this, load the KNA1 table in a new table called KNA11. Let's call it as KNA11. Okay, I have to bring the same data in a different format and then feed it here. Right? So basically, the data that is stored here and here are one and the same. Okay, this is a very bad design because we are storing the same data in different format multiple times. Okay, this is called data redundancy. This is called data redundancy, and this ignore my spelling, okay, typo, data redundancy, and this data redundancy is not at all good for any database. Okay, that is what SAP HANA is achieving by providing the information models, the avoiding of data redundancy. That is what the best part of information models are. Okay, so having said this, let us see what are the different types of information models that are possible in SAP HANA. Information models. Okay, there are 3 types of information models: attribute views, okay, attribute views, analytic views, and calculation views. Okay, attribute views, analytic views, and calculation views. I'm going to give an analogy right now for this. Those people who have worked in SAP BW will understand this analogy very easily. Okay, in SAP BW world, there is something called info objects or master data. Okay, if you guys attend SAP BW class, you will understand what is an info object or master data. So info object or master data is some object which holds master data. Okay, so attribute views in SAP BW are analogous to SAP HANA are analogous to info objects in SAP BW. Okay, and then in SAP BW world there is another set of objects called info cubes. Okay, analytical views are analogous to info cubes. Okay, calculation views. What are calculation views analogous to? In SAP BW world, there is something called multi-provider or info set. There are 2 sets of objects. One set of objects is called multi-provider. The other set of objects is called info set. Okay, calculation view is analogous to this. Okay, even if you guys do not know SAP BW world, okay, SAP BW world, do not worry. I'm not going to explain them in detail, but I'm going to explain the attribute views, analytic views, and calculation views in detail. So that way you will get an idea of what these objects are in the SAP BW as well. Okay, so this is the analogy. For those of you who know SAP BW, you can clearly appreciate this concept of attribute views mapping to info objects, analytic views mapping to info cubes, calculation views mapping to multi-providers or info sets. There is a question that is coming up: is currency conversion is a part of calculation view? Very good question. Very good question there. I will just give you an overview. But still I will explain this in detail when it comes to that particular section, calculation views or analytic views. Okay, the currency conversion, just to answer your question, currency conversion can be done. Currency conversion can be done in the analytic views as well as calculation views. Okay, it can be done here or here, but not here. How to do it, I'll explain in the coming classes. Okay, so one more last concept that I want to explain, before I deep dive into the attribute views and analytic views and calculation views is this: how they are executed. How they are executed. Okay, there are different types of engines. We have seen that when we looked at HANA architecture, we saw different engines, right? Join engine, OLAP engine, okay, OLAP engine, and then calculation engine. Calculation. These are three different types of engines that we have seen during the architecture, right? So our attribute views are executed on join engine. Okay, our analytic views are executed on OLAP engine unless there is some calculation. Okay, our calculation views are executed on calculation engine. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is there are different types of engines which are available in the HANA database, right, which are specifically used to execute or to process these type of information models: attribute views on join engine, analytic views on OLAP engine, and calculation views on calculation engine. Okay, we will see in detail on how they get executed, how they get processed, and how they switch from one engine to the other engine. All right.